In this video, I want to teach you how to paint a tileable wooden bridge. In part 1, we make a simple model inside Blender. In part 2, we talk about preparing the image to paint over it, adding inner and outer wood patterns, adding wood knots, painting highlights beside cracks, painting ropes that hold the bridge using the pen tool, and finally adding the shadow below the woods that holds the bridge. I click on Add Mesh Cylinder to add a cylinder to the scene. You can change the setting here if you press this small arrow. Here I reduce the number of vertices to 15 to reduce the side of the cylinder, and I also make the cylinder smaller by reducing the diameter. As you can see, the edge around the cylinder is not smooth. They are hard edge. So I need to make them smooth. To make the cylinder look smooth, I right click and I press Shade Smooth. So Blender use vertex normal to fake a smooth face. Now we have a new problem. The side of the cylinder is smooth, but the top part and side around the cylinder looks like they are one piece. Blender cannot understand when the top part and side part are separating from each other. So we need to tell the Blender separate the top part and side by turning on Auto Smooth. So you need to go here, Object, Data, Properties, Normals, and Auto Smooth. No, Blender will decide based on the angle that you specify here, an edge between two faces is a soft edge or it's a hard edge. If it's a hard edge, two face looks like as two separate face. But if the edge between two face is a soft edge, two face looks like as a one piece, as a one face. For more information about Blender, please watch the Blender Essential Training for Beginners, which is included in this course. I will use this cylinder to make the bridge, but right now it's look very uniform. So I want to add more edge to make it a little deformed. So I press 3 to go to Face Edit mode. Then I click on Loop Cut. I hold the mouse button, left mouse button, and I click and drag my mouse along the edge, and I will release the mouse button in the place that I want to add loop edge. Then as you can see, I select the loop and I move it. Now it's a little deformed. I scale and rotate it, and I duplicate the cylinder. You can press Ctrl D to duplicate it. I add a little randomness in rotation. I also need a small wood piece at the two sides of the bridge so it can hold the bridge with rope. I will paint the rope later in Photoshop. To check if the angle I am viewing my model is a proper angle, so I can easily paint over it in Photoshop, I take a screenshot and I paste it inside Photoshop. As you can see, it's a good angle and I can work easily on it. Also, you can see that I duplicate this three last piece. So I have a tileable art asset. So it doesn't matter how much distance is between two platforms. I can duplicate the three last part in Unity or other game engine and I can fill the gap. For the two sides, left side and right side of the bridge, I can copy and mirror one side and use it in both sides. So I just only need this a small piece of the bridge to make a tileable art asset. As I explained earlier, you can make a screenshot and paste it inside Photoshop and paint over it. You can also use another way. You can render your image by pressing render image, and then make a render from your scene. But as you can see, the angle I am looking at my model is not right. So I need to change the camera view. To edit the camera view, press on camera icon, then click on this small arrow, then view, and tick camera to view. Now your camera will lock to the view. So if you move the view, you can also move the camera. Then go to render and render image. Save your render. Select the format you want, like PNG. Also select RGBA. A stands for alpha. By saving alpha with your image, you will have a transparent background in Photoshop. I personally prefer the other way. I take a screenshot and I paste it inside Photoshop. It's easier to do and it's easier to teach to other people.